Welcome back to the series where I review every single track in Mario Kart World. Last time, we took a look at Mario Bros. Circuit, and if you haven't checked that video out, make sure to check it out after this one if you're interested. Today though, we're going to be talking about Crown City. This track is one of the more interesting tracks in the game to talk about, because instead of it being the same layout for every single lap, this one is kind of like the Tour City tracks in the Booster Course Pass, where each lap you take a different route. It's not like a sectional track, you could say, but it's more so like a track with different variants. Like I said, just like the Tour City tracks. But I guess the question is, what do I think about Crown City? Before we get into this, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Christendo, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and subscribe to the channel as it helps me out a ton. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers on the channel, we're just under 500 away. So again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel as it helps me get one step closer to this goal. While you're at it, if you want to talk to me and others about all things Nintendo, consider joining the ChrisCore Discord server. The link is down in the description. Now, much like my review on Mario Bros. Circuit, I'm going to be going over 3 key categories. I'm going to be talking about the layout and giving my thoughts on it. I'm going to be talking about the visuals and atmosphere of the track, as well as the music. With that said though, let's first talk about the track layout. And of course, in order to talk about how good this track is, we gotta first break down what this track looks like. Like I've already said, this track takes place in 3 different variants, so each of the laps are slightly different or just completely different from each other. And starting off with lap 1, you start off on the Crown Bridge, with there being some boost pads before taking a right to get into the city, and it stays straight for a little bit before taking a left followed by an instant right, with there being 2 different paths you could take for this route. One of which having a building that you could drive on top of, and you can use it to trick off of it to get a little boost. This falls into an alleyway where there's some stairs with rails you can grind on, and this is followed by a 180-degree turn with an almost escape type ramp. After taking another right, you get to the main strip of the city for the rest of the lap, and this takes place on a straightaway with there being traffic to avoid and a couple split paths for you to take either above or below the tunnel of the main strip. Going into lap 2 now, this lap starts off with you going from the main strip into a tunnel that leads to the top of buildings, and in this section there's boost pads and grind rails you can jump between, and after a few turns, you jump through a giant statue of the tire and then make your way to a glider ramp that leads to the main strip that ended the previous lap. The ending is once again identical to lap 1, but there's a difference this time because you're able to glide through a majority of this straightaway. Now when it comes to lap 3, there's not really much to talk about, as it starts with an instant left turn after the end of the last lap, and it really just takes you down a hill with some windy turns. After these turns, you basically end up where you started the race, over by the Crown Bridge, and then from there you just follow the road to the finish line. The layout of Crown City is decent enough, but it does feel repetitive at times. A lot of it just takes you on a road with there being some opportunities for shortcuts, but especially with the laps ending on a long straightaway, it does lead to the track being uninteresting at some points. I think of the laps, lap 2 was the standout lap because it takes you above the city and onto rooftops, but the other 2 laps just aren't super memorable. Moving on to the visuals and atmosphere of this track now, due to this being in a city, this track really does lack a bunch of visual variety. I will say though, this does kind of remind me of an American West Coast type of city like San Francisco, and this is helped by the fact that at some points of the track, you'll be able to see the ocean in the distance. When compared to other tracks in the game though, unfortunately this is probably one of the most visually distinct. This could be because of city track fatigue from the Booster Course Pass, but if I'm being completely honest, this isn't a track I see myself remembering too much visually. As for the music, I think that the music is the strong point for this track. The music gives off the vibes of a lively and bustling city with there being high energy throughout, and honestly has the same energy that Cindy Sprint's music had. And honestly, that was a personal favorite track in terms of the Booster Course Pass city tracks. All in all, I think it sounds really good to the point I could see myself enjoying it outside of the game, and I do find it a bit better than Mario Bros. Circuit's music, which is already pretty good. Now to wrap up my thoughts on Crown City, for it being the first and only track that has different routes, each lap akin to the Booster Course Pass city tracks, the layout unfortunately feels a little underwhelming, as while the track is fun enough to drive on, there's nothing about it that really stands out for the most part. It really is just driving on roads, and there's some sections that are just straightaways, which is honestly kind of boring. The visuals of this track are also what you would expect from a city track, and because of that, it doesn't really stand out, and it looks kind of bland when compared to other tracks in the game. However, the music is a highlight, as it has a lot of energy and is on par with Cindy Sprint for me, making this a song I can find myself vibing to outside of the game. All in all, I think that Crown City is a C-tier track. It's not bad, but it's kind of a mediocre track that doesn't have too much going for it. I think that it's fun enough to drive on, but as a track, it's not super memorable. But with that, that's my review of Crown City from Mario Kart World. What did you think about the track though? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know down in the comments, as I'm interested to see if there's any differing opinion. With that being said though, that's all I have for this video, but if you want to see another video by me, there's a video on screen now where I review Mario Bros. Circuit, and if you're enjoying these Mario Kart World track breakdowns and reviews, I think you'll enjoy that one. With that being said though, I'm the biggest nub on YouTube, Christendo, signing off, and as always, goodbye, Nub Nation.